Last Saturday, we took a webinar, in which we explained to you what is power quality. And during the session, we went into details of what is power quality. Now, I have spoken last time that power quality we are talking only with respect to manufacturing, but whatever we say is also applicable for hospitality sector, also suitable for hotels and for hospitals and everything. Wherever power is used, and good quality power is essential. Actually, good quality power is essential for everybody. Today, we'll go into details of PQM. What is a good quality PQM? What are the international standards the PQM has to adhere to? Then we'll explain to you what is a Class A power quality meter. One is power quality meter, and what is Class A power quality meter? Why do you require Class A? You may ask a question that in India, do I require to buy a Class A power quality meter today, or can I buy a non-Class A and get away with it? Can get away with it, but we'll try to explain to you why you require a Class A. So this is a technical presentation. You can applicable for anybody buying power quality meter from anybody. But we'll be taking the help of what Janitza, which is a leader in energy management, is going to offer. Is going to offer with us is for the Class A power quality meter, and then we'll show you the other power quality meters. We have got 4 quality meters which we have in today's session. Janitza makes a large number of meters, but today we are going to focus only on 4 power quality meters. And we hope that by the end of the session, you'll understand what are the 4 power quality meters, of which one of them, UMG 5 and 2, is going to be a Class A monitor. Okay. Now, as we are going through this journey of understanding energy management, there are a lot of myths and doubts, and people think they know about energy management. What we are trying to do in 12 sessions is break down energy management into various subjects and understand it properly. So today we are going to talk about power quality meter, but we are also going to touch base on that these power quality meters, they also have a facility of downloading apps like you do in a mobile phone. You can download an app into a power quality meter. I think Genets is one of the only meters in the world, there may be others, who allow you to download an app into the meter. Today, Shravani and Krishna Dhanokar will be explaining to you how a mini EMS, mini energy management system, can be made by using one power quality meter and some 96 PA, the lower end meters of Janitza, and make a small ENMS at the end of the seminar. So I hope that today's seminar will be useful. The next seminar that we are going to conduct is maybe next week. We'll be announcing on Monday. We'll be going through the GridWiz software. Today, the GridWiz is the supervisory software which Shravani will be taking in short, not in detail. We'll also show you the device homepage, wherein you don't buy the GridWiz, but you use the device homepage to see your mini EMS on your laptop in your factory. You're the manager of a heat treatment plant. On your PC, you can see on the device homepage, you can see what is happening in your shop floor where you put the meters. And this is what we'll be demonstrating today to you. At the end of the seminar, I will explain to you how the costing is and how much it costs. And in the question answer session, we can work out कि एक 500 करोड़ की कंपनी अगर एक एनर्जी मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम डालती है तो approximately what are the budgets in mind? How are they going to connect it? These are the things that will come to mind. Today we'll try to answer some, but in the coming sessions, we'll be explaining to you the GridWiz software, the energy management SCADA software, which is very, very well done at a very, very, economical price. That product is available and in a modular form. And we'll explain to you about the device homepage. We'll explain to you about the apps. So today we'll take only one app. There are about 40 apps, but today we'll take the mini EMS app, which is most relevant for the customers that we handle. As you know, we are in 1981s in the automation field. So we have handled manufacturing industries, machine tool industry, packaging machinery. We have to Maruti Suzuki, Atlas Copco, everybody we have given PLCs, and we never touched energy management. But today I feel that energy is an important element. There should be no plant or a process or any automation SCADA which does not have a layer of energy. Up till now, all SCADAs use lots of stuff, but no, they don't measure energy. They don't measure कि मैंने 1000 parts बनाया आज दिन में, So per part, what is the cost of my energy? So this will be taking in the next session, the graduate session. So without much ado, since I think many people have already joined, I will request Shravani and Krishna to take over from now. I hope today's session is useful for you. Please put in your email ID and phone number in the chat box. We'll share with you the presentation and the video of the recording of today. I sincerely hope that today's session will be useful to you. Please put in your questions in the chat box. At the end of the seminar, we'll be taking the questions. Thank you very much, Ravani. You can please take over. निकाल दिया भैया स्पॉटलाइट करोगे Yes. Okay, Krishna, you can start.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Farooq sir, for a detailed introduction. As you know, this is our second webinar. In the last webinar, that is happened on the 5th of June, we discussed in detail about the power quality disturbances and what we can do with Janitza. How can we identify the power quality problems with Janitza? That detailed discussion we have done, but in briefly we have shown you how you can directly identify these problems in Janitza meters. In today's webinar, we will discuss and show you the features about all these power quality problems in our Janitza meters. Now I would like to ask Shravani to take forward this presentation.
Hello everyone, I am Shravani Deshpande. I welcome you all on the second webinar of our webinar series, which is on power quality meters. In the last webinar, we had gone through the basics of power quality meters, basics of power quality. Then we talked about power quality monitoring. Then we had given you an overview of how Mason can help you to monitor your power quality data. That is, we had given an overview of Janitza product range. But in today's session, we will go through detail about what Janitza has to offer you to monitor your power quality data efficiently. That is, we are going to discuss about Janitza UMG Pro series. Then we will see the demonstration of Janitza Class A Power Quality Analyzer, which is UMG 512 Pro. Then at the end, I will show you how you can form mini ENMS, that is mini energy management system within your facility using an app called mini ENMS app. So I hope you will enjoy today's session. Now let's start the session with very basics of what are the power quality meters. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So let's start with what are the power quality meters. So simply we can say that it is a tool which can measure quality of your power along with basic parameters such as voltage, current, power or frequency, etc. As we know that our conventional energy meters are capable of measuring consumed energy, but due to new technologies or due to evolution in the semiconductor industries or due to modern grid, it is not just enough to measure consumed energy, but it is also important to monitor the quality of power you are using or monitor the quality of power you're supplying to your equipments, your sensitive equipments, in order to avoid damage. So what features does a power quality meter should have? So it should gather, analyze and interpret raw measurement data into useful information. It means the result which you will get from the meter should be proper results, means they should be according to standards. Then then it should be able to measure power quality parameters such as harmonics, sag swell, transients, unbalance. See, when we are talking about power quality, it is not just only about harmonics, or it is not just only about flicker, or not just about sags, but sometimes there might be some 2-3 issues occurring together, or there might be faults due to 2-3 power quality disturbances. So your power quality meter should be able to monitor, or should be able to capture uh, all of the or most of the power quality disturbances. Then it should be able to communicate with other intelligent devices. As we know that there is hardly any industry which does not use intelligent devices such as PLC or SCADA or HMI. So that meters or power quality meters should be smart enough to communicate with the other intelligent devices also. Then they should have their own internal memory, that is data storage memory, so that they can capture the data and store for a certain period of time. So even if there is a communication gap or communication error between your meter and software, then can also, even then also it can store the data, and later on we can fetch the data from our meters. Then the next important part is, it should be able to generate reports complying to various power quality standards. As we know that there are various power quality standards, and it is important to know whether our facility is complying to that standards or not. So our meter should have facility to complying with various power quality standards. And then they should be able to generate or they should able to show the waveform of the various power quality disturbances occurring in your facility. Now let's see. Now these were the general parameters which we talked about. Now let's see what are the features that are available in the Genitza power quality meters. So the first one is inputs. So the type of inputs which we give is, we give current and voltage input for three phase and neutral, that is three phase system along with neutral conductor. Then what are the measurements it can done? It can measure voltage, current and frequency for all the minimum, maximum and mean values. Then it can measure power, active, reactive and apparent for all minimum, maximum and mean values. Then it can measure power factor, both displacement and true power factor. We know that the displacement power factor is the cause of angle between fundamental voltage and current, but the true factor considers the effect of harmonics. Therefore, if when we talk about kVA billing, it is important to consider the true power factor rather than the displacement power factor. So our meters have a feature which shows both displacement as well as true power factor. Then the next is energy. It can measure active, apparent and reactive energy. Again, when we are talking about kVA billing, we know that it is important to measure kVAH, that is apparent energy, rather than kWh, which we used to use earlier. Then the next is demand. Our meters are capable of measuring peak demand as well as average demand. Then standards. There are various standards which our meter should comply or meter should follow. There are various safety standards such as EL, CE standard, UL standard and all. So our meters comply to all these safety standards. Then as I said, it is important for a meter to have a memory so that it can store large amount of data and we can fetch that data later on. So our meters have memory for storing data. Then communication. These are the most commonly used communication interfaces, which is RS-485 and Ethernet. Of course, we have some other interfaces also, but these are the most commonly used interfaces that we have. Then we also have a gateway functionality in which you can configure your meter as a master device, and so that it can take the data from other slave devices connected to it. Then it also has integrated web service, due to due to which you can access the homepage of your device from anywhere, means from any place or remotely. So this is the important feature that we have. Then the next is mounting. We have a facility for door mounting, that is for front panel mounting and for DIN mounting. So as per your requirement or as per your facility, you can choose between DIN mounting or front panel mounting. Then the next important part is display. Our meters have graphical display, that is you can see the waveforms of various parameters or waveforms of various power quality disturbances, and there are some meters which has the LCD display. Now let's see what is a class A power quality analyzer, or what do we mean by class A. So class A is a legally verifiable standard. This class A is used where precise measurements are necessary. For example, for contractual applications, or for resolving the disputes between utility companies, or for complying to various standards. Now, as you can see that IEC 61000-4-30 has defined certain measurement methodologies for various power quality parameters. For each parameter, such as for example, for flicker, harmonics, for voltage, for every parameter, they have defined certain limits, certain measurement methodologies. As you can see that they have mentioned that for certain parameters, such as for supply voltage, harmonics, interharmonics, and unbalance, the measurement interval should be 10 cycle, that is 200 millisecond. That is after every 200 millisecond, these data should be recorded. Like this, there are so many parameters and there are so many limits which are defined in the IEC 61000-4-30. So we have this Genitza Class A Power Quality Analyzer, which is UMG 512 Pro. We are going to discuss about this in further slides. Now, these are the Genitza UMG Pro series. These are so first one is the UMG 512 Pro Class A Power Quality Analyzer. It can be mounted, it can be installed at main voltage and low voltage supply incomers, that is at PCC point, which is point of common coupling, and it can monitor the incoming power or incoming supply. So supply sag, harmonics, transients can be monitored by this meter. Then rest of the meters can be installed at main distribution boards or at the load points such as chiller plants or at the supply or at the server racks, etc. So the rest of the meters are UMG 509 Pro, this is 605 Pro and 604 Pro. So these two meters are for front panel integration having dimensions 144 by 144 mm, and these two are for DIN mounting. See, the purpose of these meters, purpose of this Genitza UMG Pro series is that they comply to various standards such as EN 5160 or IEC 61000-2-4 or IEEE 519. So whatever results you will get from the meters will directly tell you whether you are complying to whether you are complying to standards or not, or whether you are within the limits or not. Means it is not needed that you take the data or put it in an Excel sheet and do the calculations and then check whether I am following to limits or not. So Genitza has reduced your efforts and they have given the standards facility directly in the meters. Whatever data you will get, you will come to know whether you are complying to that or not. Now let's see the feature of each meter in detail. I hope my screen is visible.
It's visible. It's visible.
Yeah. So these are the 4 meters. First one is 512 Pro, which is Class A power quality analyzer. Then 509, 605 and 604, all are the multifunction meters. Then as I said, this can be installed or this can be installed at these positions. 512 can be installed at PCC, point of common coupling. 509 and rest of the meters can be installed at main distribution boards and load points. Then these meters require supply voltage, or we can call it as auxiliary voltage, to turn on. So they can work on either single phase supply or a DC supply. So these are the limits for supply voltage. Then these meters are intended to measure in a 3-phase 4-wire networks or a 3-phase 3-wire networks. So these are the voltage measurement ranges. Then they are capable. The rated current for them can be either 1 ampere or 5 ampere. Then they have got 4 current measurement channels, that is current measurement for R, Y, B along with neutral. As we know that neutral current monitoring is also important, because due to harmonics, neutral conductor gets overloaded. Therefore, it is also important that you should monitor the neutral current, and all the 4 meters have facility to monitor the neutral current. Then sampling rate. The sampling rate for 512 is 25.6 kilohertz, and rest of the meters have 20 kilohertz sampling rate. So the sampling period for 512 is 39 microsecond, and for rest of the meters it is 50 microseconds. Then, as I said, these meters are also capable of monitoring residual currents. Therefore, our 512 and 509 has a residual current monitoring inputs, and rest of the meters does not have it. Then harmonics, 512 and 509 can measure harmonics up to 63rd order, and rest of the can measure up to 40th order. Then unbalance can be measured by all the meters. Then flicker is only available in 512 and 605. Then transients, as we could see that the sampling period for these meters is 39 microsecond. It means it is able to capture transients which are greater than 39 microsecond. Likewise, these are the meters which are capable of capturing transients greater than 50 microseconds. Then short-term interruptions are also available in all the meters. Then the most important part is active energy class. So these 4 Pro devices has highest accuracy class, which is 0.2s and 0.5s. Then internal memory, 512 and 509 has got internal memory of 256 MB, and these two has got 128 MB. Then these meters have digital inputs, outputs, and thermistor input, or we can say digital input, analog input. So they have got 2 digital inputs and outputs, and 1 thermistor input, where you can connect thermistor types, various thermistor types such as PT100, PT1000, KTY83, KTY84, etc. Then all these meters have integrated web server. They have email functionality, that is you can get emails for faults in your system. Then all these meters have a home page which you can access remotely. Then as Farooq sir said, these meters have facility to install or download apps in them. So all these meters support apps. Then they have fault recorder function, and they have JASIC PLC programming. That is, these meters have inbuilt PLC in them. On that, you can write your logics. You can write up to 7 logics in them, and as per your requirement, and you can take actions whatever you want in your facility. Then let's talk about interfaces. Then RS232 is the interface only available with the 605 and 604 meters. Then RS485, as we know that RS485, that is Modbus, is the most commonly used interface. Therefore, it is available in all the meters. Then USB is not available with Pro series meters, but we have some separate meters, some special meters we have that have USB functionality. Then this Profibus connector is available with all the meters apart from 604. Then MBus protocol, MBus interface is also available with our lower range product, but not in Pro series. Then Ethernet is also most widely used interface. Therefore, it is available in all the meters. Now let's talk about protocols. So we can relate the interfaces with the protocols. So as we know that RS485 is present in all the meters, therefore they support Modbus RTU protocol. Then Modbus gateway, as I said, this Modbus gateway protocol allow a meter to configure it as a master device, and we can connect number of slave devices to it. Then the meter which the 3 meters has Profibus connector, therefore they support Profibus protocol. Then Modbus TCP IP is supported by all the meters as they have Ethernet interface. Then the next is OPC UA protocol. This protocol is not available with the Pro series, but we have some separate meter for this. Then this backnet protocol is optional. Means if you want the backnet access, then you can pay for it and you can get access for the backnet protocol. Then Profinet protocol is also not available with the Pro series, but we have meter for Profinet interface also. Now, in order to summarize, we can see that UMG 512 and 509 are same in all the features, but the only difference is 509 cannot measure flicker, but rest of the features are same. And one more important difference is 509 is not a class A power quality analyzer, but 512 is a class A power quality analyzer. Similarly, we can compare between 605 and 604 is that only 604 cannot measure flicker, but both have same functionalities apart from that. Now, now let's see the demonstration of the UMG 512 Pro. But before moving forward, let me explain you the connections or the terminals it has got. So it has got one supply terminal where we can connect auxiliary supply to it. So it can work either on single phase supply or a DC supply. Then it has got a earth terminal for earthing connection. Then it has got 4 current measurement channels. As I said, it has also facility to measure the neutral current also. Therefore, it has got 4 current measurement channels. Then it has got 5 voltage measurement channels. The 3 voltage measurement channels are for baseline measurements, that is for RYB connections. And the 4th channel or the 4th connection is for supporting measurement. And it is used in case of 3 phase 3 wire, means 3 phase symmetrical loads, or in case of single phase loads. And this is for neutral connection. As I said, this meter has 2 digital inputs and outputs and 1 thermistor input. And then this meter has a facility of central grounding point monitoring, means we can monitor the earth connection for fault currents. So the I6 channel contains CT mounted on or put on earth connection. Then the I5 channel contains it's for residual current monitoring basically, and it contains R, Y, B and neutral connected together over a RCM CT. Then this is RS485 interface. Then it has got Profibus interface, and this is the battery. This is the 3-volt lithium ion battery, which is required for internal supply of a clock, which is used for storage of a memory. Now let's see the demonstration of 512 Pro Class A power quality analyzer, which we have connected to our incoming supply of our office. So this is the homepage of our 512 Pro. But we are going to cover in detail about in coming sessions. But today we are focusing on display, that is on meter. Therefore, I am showing the meter on the homepage. I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, it is visible. No
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. So this is Class A Power Quality Analyzer, which is UMG 512 Pro. As I said, it can be installed at PCC, point of common coupling. Then it has got dimensions of 144 by 144 and it is suitable for front panel installation. Then it has got two modes. One is display mode and another is a configuration mode. That is, you can set the various parameters on the meter itself. Then it has got 6 functional keys. I will quickly tell you the function of each key. The first key is used to switch between configuration mode and display mode. Key number 2 and 5 are used to switch between various displays. Key number 3 and 4 are used to move up and down between the screen, or to increase or decrease the number by 1. And 6 number is used to select the parameter which you have chosen. Now let's start with the demonstration. As you could see, the first screen is showing the instantaneous values for voltage, current, real power, reactive power, and power factor for all the phases connected. It can also show the frequency for all the phases L1 to L3, then total current for all the phases, total active power, reactive power, and power factor. And you could see that my reactive power is also with this sign, that I can easily identify that whether my reactive power is capacitive or inductive. Now the next screen is a voltage screen, in which we can see the line voltages and phase voltages. So this is the screen showing line phase voltages. Now if we select on this, we can see that it is showing the total harmonic distortion, power factor, and frequency for each phase. Also, we can have the minimum values and maximum values with timestamp. For example, if we select on this, we can see that my minimum value has occurred on this time and at this date and on this time. Similarly, we can have this for line voltages also. So these are the line voltages. Then the next screen is current screen, where we can see the current for all the phases and along with their average value and maximum of average values. Then we can see the residual currents. So as I said, this L5 channel contains R, Y, B and neutral connected together, and L6 channel contains earth connection. Then this meter is also capable of measuring K factor of the transformer. Then it also shows total harmonic distortion for current. Then it also shows the total current for L1 to L3 phase and also for L1 to L3 phase. Now the next screen is real power. So we can see the real power with average value and maximum value with timestamp for all the phases. Similarly for reactive power, here also you can identify whether my reactive power is capacitive or inductive. Then we have apparent power. If we select on this, we can get the true power factor, or a power factor which contains the effect of harmonics, and second one is cos phi, which is fundamental power factor. As I explained the importance of measuring true power factor and displacement power factor, this meter can show both the power factors for all the phases. Then we can see the total power, means total active power for all the phases, total apparent power and total reactive power, and this is the total power factor of the system. Then these are the monthly real energy values. On this screen, you would be able to see the data of 3 years, means right now you can see the yellow one is for 2021 and this red one is for 2020. So this screen would help you to compare between current month data, current month and current year data with the previous month and previous year data. So this is for real values. Similarly, we can have for apparent values or for monthly demand energy values, also for the reactive values. Then we can have peak demands, means we can see the monthly peak demands. For example, if we select on this, then we would able to see my peak demand was this at this date and at this time. Like this, you can see three maximum values for entire month. You can see this for years also. For example, in the previous year, my maximum peak demand has occurred on this date and this time. So it, in this case also, it shows three maximum values. Then this is the voltage harmonic spectrum. Here, just by visualization, you can see that my ninth harmonic has the highest magnitude, and has my highest magnitude. And as per IEEE 519, and as per IEC 61000-4-30, suggests that when we are looking at individual order harmonics, it is important to know the relative values, means we should consider magnitudes of the harmonics, not the percentages. So this meter directly shows you the percentage of harmonic component, for values or magnitude of the harmonic component. For example, we can see that my ninth harmonic is maximum with having magnitude somewhere between 2.7 and 3.3. Likewise, we can have for current and voltage also, but these can also be seen in the absolute form also, means we can see percentage also, but this has also function to see in magnitudes as well. Then for current harmonics, so these are the percentage values, and we can see the magnitudes also. So this is my fundamental component, and these are my harmonic components. Then the next is line writer screen. On this, we can see actual waveform or actual representation of various parameters. So this is right now you are seeing for the R phase voltage. Similarly, we can have for all the phases. Then we can have for current, for active power, for reactive power, for residual currents, for internal and external temperature. As I said that this meter has a feature to where we can connect external thermistor input to it, so it can show external temperature as well as internal temperature. Then transients. As I said, this meter has a sampling rate of 25.6 kilohertz. Therefore, it is capable of capturing transients greater than 39 microseconds. So we can see that at this phase, my transient has occurred, and the type of the transient, and at what date and at what time my transient has occurred. If we select on this, we can see the graphical representation of the transient has occurred. Let's see the type delta, so that, for example, if we select on this, we can see that my transient has occurred on the Y phase of the current waveform. Likewise, we can have total 18 values for the transient. Then the next is yes. Similarly, we can have for events. So events are nothing but the set threshold values exceeded, or set values when exceed the threshold value, an event gets occurred. So types of events are fast frequency change, or rapid voltage change, or sag or swell. In this case also, we can see at what phase my event has occurred, what was the reason, as we could see that FFC means fast frequency change has occurred at this date and this time. We can see the graphical representation for events also. So this is the graphical representation. Then the next important feature is phasor diagram. Here we can easily conclude that whether my current is leading or lagging, or by what angle it is leading or lagging. So this screen shows the voltages, current, active power, apparent power, and phase angle for all the phases. Then this is the oscilloscope, where we can see the waveforms for voltage and current for each phase. Right now, the sinusoidal one is the voltage waveform, and the distorted one is the current waveform. We can see for the all phases. This is for Y phase and this is for B phase. Then next is the flicker. As I said, this meter complies to various standards. Therefore, it also complies to IEC 61000-4-15, which is the standard for flickers. And this standard defines the definition of flicker and some limits for short time flicker and long time flicker. So our meter is capable of measuring short time flicker and long time flicker. Then this is the another way of data representation, where we can see the all the parameters, voltage, current, real power, residual current, and temperature also. Then, as I said, this meter supports various communication protocols. So the status for communication protocol can be seen on this screen. So this was all about display mode of the meter. Now I will quickly go through the configuration mode. Actually, it is in very depth, but I will just try to touch upon some basic points. So in the menu, we have got this much parameters. So we can do settings for communication, measurement, system, display, colors, and extensions. So we can set language as per our requirement. Then in communication, we have settings for RS485 and Ethernet. Then in measurement, we can have settings for main transformer, auxiliary transformer, or differential transformer, or as well as for transients, events, flicker. All these settings can be done on meter itself. Then we have system. In this, we can see the overview of this meter, like its version, its serial number, MAC address, IP address, and this meter also allow you to put password for protection purpose, and we can also reset maximum minimum values or the energy of this meter. Then the display menu provides to set the brightness or contrast of the meter, or whether you want to put screensaver or all that things. Then you can set the colors for various parameters which we had seen. So this was all about UMG 512 Pro Class A Power Quality Analyzer. Now as I said, we can install various apps in the meters in the Genza UMG Pro series. So we have got so many apps, approximately up to 40 apps, but from them, some of the important apps are Mini ENMS app, which I'm going to show you today. The next one is EN50160 Watchdog app. Installing this app will tell you or will help you to understand that whether you are complying to EN50160 limits or not. Similarly, we can have this for IEC 61000-2-4. Then multi-touch app is same as that of Mini NMS app, but it provides you to connect on various interfaces for such as for RS485 or BACnet protocol, etc. Then push service app is used to push or to save the data on the cloud directly from the meter. Now let's see what is Mini ENMS app. So using this Mini ENMS app, you can get real-time as well as historical values for master and slave devices connected. as I said, the gateway functionality enables to configure meter as a master device. So you can get the data of master, you can get the data of slave devices on the homepage of the master device. Then for this, you can connect up to 16 slave devices to the master device. So in order to explain this, I have taken one example of a manufacturing plant. So in this manufacturing plant, they have connected UMG 512 Pro at their PCC, and they have connected their GridWiz, and they have got 4 shades. For each shade, they have got some number of machines, and for on each machine they have connected some meters. So they want to monitor the each shade individually. Therefore, they have connected the UMG 509 Pro at the incoming of their shade. And then, now let's see the details of each shade. So for, as you can see that this shade has got these machines, and on each machine they have installed UMG 96PA. This 96PA has a modular functionality where you can connect the Ethernet module, and the basic device has a RS485 interface. So now I have shown that they are connected on the Ethernet via TCP/IP protocol, and some of the meters are connected to the through the RS485 interface to the master device. So if you have installed that mini ENMS app in the master device, that is in the 509 Pro, you can get the data of all the slave devices connected on the homepage of the 509. So as you can see in the image, just by sitting in your cabin or in at one corner of your facility, you would be able to see what is happening in the corner of your facility or any shade of your facility. Now for demonstration purpose, I have So for demonstration purpose, I have connected UMG 509 Pro to the 2 slave devices, and I have installed mini ENMS app in the 509 Pro. So as you can see, this is the master device which is connected, and to this master we have connected 2 slave devices. As you can see, we could see the data for master as well as slave devices. This is the live data, that is real-time values. Then we can also see the graphs for the various parameters for master as well as slave devices. But if we simply select and drag, we can see the voltage waveforms or all the waveforms for a master as well as slave, for online values as well as for historical value. At one time, you can see six such values in single graph. Then these are the slave devices. You can see the data for slaves also. Then you can also have the energy usage. So you can see the energy usage for master device as well as slave devices. Then in the settings, you can manage the number of slaves connected to it. So as I said, we can connect up to 16 slave devices. So we can set 16 devices, and we can name them or we can set them as per our requirement. Now I hand over the further session to Mr. Krishna Dhanurkar. Thank you.
Thank you, Shravani. Before proceeding further, I would like to ask 2 questions to our participants. Have you ever used Power Quality Analyzer in any of the company, or you have suggested them, or you have used ENM system in your company? If you have, then please type yes or no in the chat box. If yes, it is good. If no, then we will aware you more about the power quality and what is the benefit of it, and also benefit of the ENM system for further use. This is recently, I would just like to say one case that we have recently have. One of the company, incomer company of having a 33 kV user, they have a problem of suddenly they have a breakdown of their machines in their premises. So after approaching us, we suggested them to use a power quality analyzer in their PCC. After installing that, we come to know that there is a voltage sag issue in their premises. Now, this is a simple thing that we using a power quality analyzer in premises, and these are benefits of the commercial benefits are numerous. The downtime of your production line is huge, that you can count it, that how much downtime of production can cost to you, and what is the cost of the power quality analyzer to cost to you. This the ratio is something that you can imagine and you can invest it. Now these are some of the benefits. Recently, you know that every company requires a 24/7 power in their premises. But what about the quality? In March 2020, the April 2020, MERC has started the KVH billing in Maharashtra. Suddenly, everyone started installing these APFC panel in their premises. As you know, the power quality issues, like I would like to highlight one issue, that if you have harmonics in your premises, then what happened to your capacitors? As the frequency increases, this harmonics takes the lowest resistance path and tries to go through these capacitors, and the capacitor value gets reduced. You don't know, you can imagine if the life of the capacitor get reduced, then you have to replace it. Also, you can see here, highlight here, the winding of the transformer get burn out. Also, this due to this harmonics, also the winding of the motor gets also burn out. So you just need to rewind the motor or transformer, and the value of it that you better know than us. What is the use of this? When using the power quality analyzer, you can easily find out what is the problem in your power quality problem in your premises. You can easily find out the reports, what is the damaging that it can cause to you. And these are the various benefits that you can easily get by using the Genitza power quality analyzer in your premises. It is worth investing value for money. As we have discussed in detail about the Class A power quality analyzer today, as you know, there are various compliances that IEC 61000-4-30 standard is there, IEEE 519 standard is there for harmonics. These are standard is there, but you know the power quality problems are also there. Whether you comply it or not, you have to deal with these power quality problems. And for that, today you have to use it, or tomorrow you have to use it. But you have to use this power quality meter in your premises or company. Recently, we have one NGO that approached us, and they wanted to use this ENMS system in their premises near Mumbai. Only the thing is that the premises have only a meditation center, and they are so conscious about these power quality. They are conscious about the energy uses in their premises. Then question comes in our mind: these NGOs have so conscious about these power quality or uses of energy in their premises. Then what about the industry? Industry people are the most people. They are using this energy more than anyone. And why they are not conscious about these power quality or the energy uses in their systems? That questions still linger in our mind. That is from our side. If you have any questions, please raise from your side. We are open for it.
Krishna?
Yes, sir.
There is one gentleman, Mr. I think so, Mr. Satish Iyengar. He is asking us for facilities in Bangalore. Okay. I have put in Mr. Vijay's phone number in the chat box.
Okay, sir.
And I've also put in your number and Sahil's number and email ID in the chat box.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to get more details, then I think Satish Iyengar is also looking for price list. So that is something we can discuss on the phone.
Yes, sir, definitely. Sir.
So this Mr. Apurva Bahadur asked about the standard. So if this one Shravani can put in the standard for which I'll just read out that standard which we have.
IEC 61000. Okay.
No, yeah, 30 wala.
Okay, okay.
Write down the number of the standard because
Okay.
the reason why UMG 512 is class A is because it's as per that standard.
Okay, okay.
And we should take one session on standards.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
When we do IEEE 519, that time we should, because that is a sub part of that standard. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let's see if somebody has any question.
Farooq sir, one question. Apurva here. My question is ki, in a previous company, we were using some meters from L&T and there was some dispute. And then when we went to MSCV, they said, ye aap kaun sa meter laye, humko malum nahi. So when you buy the meter, it must comply to their standards. So what I wanted you to do is, show that the documentation produced by Janitza is going to be accepted by the energy producers. Those practical problems are there that they will make you run around. Ki aapka document match nahi hota. Thank you.
Yeah, sir. Just to tell you, sir, this Janitza meter is already used by this MSc TCL, sir. Okay, just to know. Because our normally class A meters are already installed in around 50 to 60 meters in my MSc TCL Maharashtra itself, sir. Okay.
But do you have a letter which says that the reports produced by Janitza meters are acceptable for any dispute that arises from our supply?
Apurva.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
See, moment the IEEE 519 becomes an ordinance in Maharashtra or any state.
Yes, sir.
Automatically, they will put in that substandard which I put on your chat box.
Yes. I got it.
IEC 159, the 30 standard comes.
Yeah.
And moment Janitza gets their meters approved for that standard, assume that the readings are going to be accepted in this. So same thing Schneider also does.
Yeah.
Same
Sir,
thing
can I add? Yeah, Professor Sachin Shelar here. Can I add, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. To answer the sir's question, the CEA, that Central Electricity Authority, has given a guideline, and in which they have mentioned that any meter should be a Class A analyzer, and as per IC 61000-4-30. So there is no necessity to have a separate permission from MSCDCL, as this meter it is applying to both the standards. It will be directly applicable even in the court of law and all.
Right. Thank you, Professor Shelar. Thank you so much.
His name is, I would just like to introduce Professor Sachin Shelar is one of the consultants appointed by Mesung to understand energy management in a deep way. And Professor Sachin is an expert on energy quality, quality of energy, power quality. So, and he's the person whom we will refer to in case we don't understand anything, or to Hari Balasubramaniam. Okay, any other questions?
Sir, I would like to add something.
Yeah.
Can I talk?
Jadhav?
Yeah. When I was in Alfa Laval, I was plant support service head. That time, 2010, I installed L&T meters all across because they wanted to capture the cell-wise energy conservation. So they wanted to capture the carbon footprint cell-wise. So I agree that L&T meters are very basic, and then the kind of meters what you have gone through today, they are very intelligent, and then the data given by it is very useful, you can say, because in that meters we have to do everything ourselves. So these meters are very good and very useful.
See, Amar Singh ji, Jadhav ji, Schneider, Siemens, L&T, these are all world-class companies.
Yeah.
Whenever they will do any manufacturing or product making, they will do it as per some international standard. Similarly, Janitza is one of the leading energy meter manufacturers in the world. And all the meters they make are as per some standard or the other. And understand that they are the largest supplier of Class A meters to data centers.
Yeah. And the kind of intelligence they are having, that is very useful and user-friendly.
Yeah. And this regarding this, Satish Iyengar ji has, Satish Iyengar would like to speak something because you have put something on the chat box which is I think so. Universal question. You would like to speak, or would you like me to answer to what you have written in the chat box? Mr. Satish?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
answer the question. Basically, these people are very advanced. Siemens also is very active.
Yeah.
Even the review consultants for Bangalore T2 terminal,
Uh-huh.
and where Siemens have supplied all the meters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we just wanted to know, ultimately it is a service backup which is very important.
Yes. Yes.
Because the user has to become more knowledgeable for using them.
Yes.
We will design them and install them and get out. The contractor.
See, one of the
Ultimately, the user has to finally start using them.
So,
And,
Sachin sir, Mr. Satish Iyengar, I would like to respond to this by saying that one of the important things that we are doing when we are promoting Janitza is that we are bringing our 40 years of experience of automation and a dedicated team for energy management in front of you. That's the reason why we are conducting these seminars where we are trying to explain the things in detail. And as you must have seen that we have Mr. Hari also supervising this meeting, and Mr. Sachin also, professor also there. The thing is that we also have an office in Bangalore. And Mr. Vijay is our engineer in Bangalore, whose name and phone number I put on the chat box. Regarding
but
the
once the
comparison
call,
of
the
the
chat box goes away.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
no,
send it to me separately.
No,
so
we'll
that
do that.
Contact us.
Yeah, we will do that, sir. We have the complete recording of this session, and we record all the people who put whatever they put on the chat box, and we respond correspondingly.
In fact, we have a separate association in Bangalore known as Electrical Consultants Association.
Very
so
good.
where you can, we have almost 100 members there.
100
consultants of South India are in part of that. So that is the forum where you should really, your person should meet them and move around so that your meters can be more popular.
That's very good news, and I recommend you that we should have a talk on Monday. We'll go into more details of that. I'll just answer that one question you have put in the chat box. How do we compare pricing wise with the remaining? As far as
what happens is, no, Mr. Farooq, it is the panel builders. Ultimately, we may specify, but then what happens? The panel builders goes to the client, and he gives 2, 3, 4 options. We cannot specify only one make.
Yeah.
As consultants,
I agree, sir.
So that is what our thing is. We have to give at least 3 makes.
Yeah, that I agree. But we are the people going to represent Janitza, and these Class A meters of 63rd harmonics and at a sampling time of 39 microsecond, I think for the Class A specifications we are very competitive.
Okay.
What Schneider and other people do, sir, is that they will say we are up to 100 harmonics and we are sampling rate is much higher than us, which is not required by IEEE 519.
Yeah, not required, of course.
And what they do is they force the consultant to put in the specs.
Yeah.
And they say this is compulsory specs of Class A, which is not required. Now, their meter will cost 6 lakhs of rupees. Our meter will cost less than 2 lakhs of rupees. But because it is there in the standard and because of the lobbying done by the multinationals, the customer is forced to pay 4 times the amount of money.
No. When we have an electrical project where our substation and panels and all put together is costing crores of rupees.
Yeah.
1 or 2 lakhs doesn't make a difference.
Sir, yes, I agree, sir. No problem, sir. My point was to make is that we make very cost effective
for purchasing, when we see that.
Okay,
when
sir.
you classify the items in the value of money price, ABC.
What we have to do is we have to work. Janitza is a late entrant into the market. Siemens, Schneider have been there for many years.
Yes.
We have to contact people like the consultants, convince them, get 1 or 2 customers like you who will recommend our meters and use it, and then the word will go ahead. Already in the manufacturing sector, where automotive industry and hospitality industry, we receive many inquiries. We have already supplied, sir, where there is a satisfactory list of customers in India who are using this, and we have a list of more than 100 data centers where Janitza has installed these meters in large quantities all over the world. So Janitza has a very good track record. We have a great track record in India, and we are when we come forward and do these presentations, we also promise warranty, after sales service, training, and everything. And our job is to educate the customers like we are doing today and answer all the technical questions. And then when an application comes, we will study your requirement, make the configuration. If there's a requirement of a POC, we can do that. And once the customer is satisfied, we go ahead. That's the way.
How is your meter compatible to the IBMS?
IBMS?
Yeah.
Compatible, huh? Yeah. So, Shravani mentioned, see, most of the IBMS.
No, she did not mention. She mentioned it has got only Profibus output is there.
No. Please,
But then
please
what
allow
happens
me.
is Profibus
Allow me,
is another integrator.
Allow me, sir. First of all, most of the IBMS, that is Integrated Building Management System, require BACnet interface.
Yes, very
Now,
true.
She mentioned in the chart which she showed, we'll be sending you the PPT, clearly written that BACnet is optional. You have to pay for it. If you require the meter on the BACnet MSTP,
Yeah, that means you are charging for the integrator.
No, we are giving you the meter with the BACnet.
That is what it's an inbuilt integrator for which you are charging extra.
BACnet, no. We are not charging extra. We are saying you have to opt for the BACnet.
So today, as per ECBC code, each and every building, each and every project of ours is having IBMS.
No, IBMS, see, understand, IBMS is an
And
integrated
when we are
building
having
management system.
IBMS,
No,
all
sir, एक minute. When you say integrated building management system, doesn't mean it has to have BACnet. BACnet is one of the options they put. It can be even Modbus RTU. It can have BACnet IP.
Yeah, but ultimately the supervisory platform, what happens, it goes to BACnet ultimately.
Sir, we have another division doing building automation using Niagara-based systems, sir. If you go on our website, we already have that, and we are using our meters along with that, sir.
Yeah, that is a different topic.
Yeah, ultimately, it is the consultant who will say use Schneider, Siemens, or Janitza. That's where it gets stuck. Whereas if somebody says you want to use Janitza, it can be used with an IBM.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, sir?
No, thank you.
Vaman, how periodic calibration support is enabled? Now, this is something I will have to check up with Hari and come back to you, Vaman. I don't have an answer just now for this, Vaman. So there must be some system for calibration. I'll have to go back to it and answer.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Vijay from Chennai.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
Sir, just one basic question. See, when we are approaching some companies, maybe they don't know whether they have to do power analysis also. There are certain factories which are working on such environments in remote places. So, do we have any questionnaire saying that whether you have some problems like this, whether you are facing some problems like this? So we just make a tick mark on that and say this, then we have a solution for it. For this is your power rating, what you are opting for, 100 kVA or whatever you are using for your shed. And these are all the problems you are facing. Some indicative saying that by arresting this, there will be a payback period. Within this, you will be able to restore your investment amount. On the contrary, these are all the benefits you are going to reap out of it. If something like that is there, then making approach will become easier, no, sir?
So, Mr. Vijay, you're an EMS consultant or an electrical engineer or auditor. What is your background, sir?
Sir, Vijay, sir, ex-CMOS.
Okay. You're from the automation background.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So for you, it must be a new subject, but
Yes,
for
sir.
people from the electrical engineering side, most of the manufacturing company appoint auditors.
Okay.
And the auditors come and ask all the standard questions which you are asking me to give you.
Okay.
And up till now, till recently, auditing was more like a formality. Now that the KVH billing has started from January 2020, suddenly everybody has woken up to control their reactive power and to reduce the billing down to the KVH billing down to the whatever getting earlier the KWH billing. So suddenly people are coming to us because they want to reduce the billing. So there is a slap from the utility and everybody has reacted. But till today, nobody has got any penalty for harmonics. But they get most of the manufacturing companies, if their harmonics are high, are getting letters from the utility saying your company is generating more harmonics. They are getting the letters. And those customers are telling us that we are receiving letters. But presently, nobody is doing anything about the harmonics because there is no penalty. But there are two sides to this coin. One is, are you going to put a power quality meter or a power quality energy management system only when you get penalty? Or are you going to put a system in place because getting good power to your machines is important for you?
Okay.
If you're using a large number of CNCs, vertical machining centers, and very critical electronic equipment, then it's logical that you should have clean power going to your machine. Now, whether after buying the UPS and transformers and isolation transformers, stabilizers, is your machine still getting clean power? You need to supervise that. And you must put these permanently mounted power quality meters at strategic places in the factory. Like Shravani gave that diagram in which she said there's a incoming 509 and on each machine there is a 96 PA connected on a device homepage with an app. At a very low cost, you can monitor the quality of the power. May not be in the harmonics, but at least the total harmonic distortion you can get. What is, after doing all the precaution, is your machine still getting good power?
Okay.
Because there are many machines which generate harmonics within themselves also. Because of the VFDs and the servo amplifiers, and because they're using switch mode power supplies and they're using thyristor drives and things like that, many of the machines generate their own harmonics and their own transients.
Yeah.
And not all the machine manufacturers are so hygienic in understanding that they are giving a electrically clean machine.
Okay.
And this is what happens in India because of the voltage fluctuations, because of all that. Expensive machines suddenly break down. And then they'll call the machine manufacturer and he'll give a hefty bill. And they'll come and say, this is because of your power, your machine has failed, your CPU card has failed. And Siemens will give a bill of 10 lakhs of rupees for the CPU. And the machine manufacturer, the user will say, why I have not done anything? It's too late. You have not done your homework before. Now, if your factory is doing some scrap work or something, and for you power is not important, you have huge money in the bank, you don't mind paying penalties, then no question.
Okay.
But if you're a sensible company trying to do ISO 9000, using good quality products, then as a standard operating procedure, you must have a proper energy management system. I would go ahead one more. Like when we started implementing ISO 9000 in our companies, say 20 years back, we always had a lead auditor for ISO 9000 in each of our companies. I recommend that every manufacturing company should have at least one energy management person in their own factory. The person who is responsible to supervise and monitor the quality of energy being used and the way the energy is being used effectively in the factory. One person should be there in every factory who's trained on PQM, who's trained on Class A, who's trained on IEEE 519, and he saves large money for the customer, for the owner of the company, because he sees that there is no penalty. He sees that the power factor is nearly 0.99. He also sees to it that the machines are uptime is the maximum, that the maximum demand of the company is within all the rules and regulations of tariff are followed. And these are the people who are going to see to it that the power is utilized properly by the manufacturing company. This is the way forward that I see in the next 3-4 years.
Okay. Because I happened to speak to one of the OEMs. They have their end user plans also. I asked them what is being done after the first session we had regarding energy management. So I just posed them this question saying that, what are you currently doing? Are there any preliminary steps taken towards that, or how you are planning to go ahead? They said, no, we are yet to start with that. So that is why I just wanted to know in this platform whether there are some questions to be asked to find out how we can go in the step-by-step with them approach.
See, I will send you the list. We have the list. Professor Sachin Shelar, who is part of the audience today, he is one of the lead auditors in Pune area. Okay. And basically, any auditor has that list of questions. Okay. He will go through from the transformer side to how the power is distributed throughout the factory. But understand one thing, sir, Vijay, is that there has to be an attitude by the customer, by the owner.
Correct, sir. Correct.
If the owner does not have an attitude, he will not even listen to your questions.
Correct, sir. Agreed.
Second thing is that the machine manufacturer wants to make the machine at the lowest cost.
Yeah.
On his
true.
own, he's not going to put any power quality meter or energy meter or any energy element in the machine until the user forces him.
Okay. Okay.
Even the biggest CNC manufacturers in India just give a stabilizer along with the machine.
True, sir.
Now, if you go to any CNC machine, you will not find anywhere on the screen of the CNC any parameter saying you have consumed this much energy. That per part your energy is this. That when you are doing the machining, the last shift, your power quality was this, and this was the surges that were there. These are the transits that were there. There is nothing in a CNC machine. The machine may cost 5 crores, but there is nothing about energy quality in the machine.
Okay.
And this is precisely what I'm saying. When the machine breaks down, when there is a scare and then they have to put heavy amount of money to replace the CPU, then they'll start thinking, this electricity board is useless. We get bad electricity, this, that. But on his own, he has not done anything.
Sir, this I faced practically, sir.
And I'm telling you, sir, 40 years I'm in this industry, sir.
I faced this practically in one of the companies, leading companies.
After 40 years, I've introduced energy management as a lecture in India.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions, sir?
No, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Chalo, chalo. So I think we have answered most of the questions. Many people have put their email IDs and phone numbers. And we thank you very much for today being present. And with your permission, all the audience that is there, I would like to close the session. If any question, please let me know. Otherwise, I put the email ID and phone number of Mr. Krishna Dhanorkar and this. Acha, Nitin Lalsare has put a question. Your meters are monitoring devices and users have to take corrective action on the basis of values. See, Mr. Nitin, if you go on our website, www.masoon.com, I'll put on the chat box. We are also representing Fuji for the UPS, for the uninterrupted power supply and the active harmonic filters. But we did not want to take everything together. So today in these sessions, we'll be covering the monitoring part. As we complete the energy management monitoring part and IEEE 519, we will then start with the how to implement the active harmonic filter, how to use a UPS, how we will correct the problem. एक होता है supervise करना, एक होता है उसको correct कैसे करना. Now everybody knows in factories that you have to use capacitor panels. Now capacitor panels का design itself is quite critical, and many of the customers just say, अरे सस्ते में क्या मिलता है, and then they'll use something and they'll buy some PFC controller and it will be a very poor solution. The result is you'll keep on paying money for reactive energy. The result is you will not be able to do anything of the harmonics. So when to use active harmonics, where to use the harmonic filters, how to match the cost with the solution, that we'll be taking about 6-7 sessions later. I would like to end today's session by telling you the next seminar will be basically on GridWiz supervisory software. That is a SCADA software. We'll be explaining in detail. It is going to be a very, very good session. I request everybody to attend, because when you're putting 30, 40, 50 meters in the factory, you need a very good monitoring software, which gives you the alarms, gives you the status, gives you historical data, gives you the reports, which are class A reports, which go to the utility. You can compare your tariff bills with what energy you're consuming. You can actually do unit-wise ROI for each of the plant in internal profit centers. Everything will be explained in detail on the GridWiz, and I suggest you should attend. We'll also be explaining the device homepage, which is the local EMS that a person can do in a particular shop. We'll be also explaining about the apps. Today we explained only about the EMS app, but there are many other apps, and one of the important apps is how to get reports as per IEEE 519. We will be taking it, but IEEE 519 we will be taking in the subsequent session. Next week is on the GridWiz supervisory software and device homepage and the apps. Thank you very much. And if with your permission, I think somebody has put something on the chat box.
Sir, just one last point. Sir, these webinars can be shared to customers also, no problem?
Definitely, we will be. अभी आपने अगर email ID और phone number डाला है तो आप, and you can always, sir, you can always, I'll give you my phone number also, sir. You can directly WhatsApp me. Anybody can WhatsApp me. I'll put for everyone here. I put it. So this is my phone number. Please note down, and you can send a WhatsApp to me. I believe that if you have to become a world-class country, And if we have to fulfill the dream of our leaders that we will be a industry giant, India will be a manufacturing center, then we must understand how to use good quality power. Agar energy proper nahi hai, it's like food, if you don't eat proper food, your body is going to be sluggish, it's going to have gas, it's going to have acidity, your full efficiency is gone. In the same way, a manufacturing company has to look after the way they use the power. Either way they use the power from the grid, or they use it from the DG set, or from the solar or wind energy. How you manage your power is very critical. For that, you must understand what is good power. And today's sessions and the recording, all of that will be on the YouTube. We'll be sending you the links. We'll be putting the links on the Facebook and the LinkedIn pages. If you follow Mesum Electrical Engineering on Facebook, Instagram, or on LinkedIn, you'll get us. You send a WhatsApp message to me. I put my phone number. We will see that you get the answers. You will see that you get the presentation. Not only the presentations made by Mesum, but there's a whole lot of presentations which are available from Janetza. What my aim and vision is that when you sit in a manufacturing company, or you sit as the head of the electrical in a hospital or in a hotel, you must understand what is good quality power. And it is your duty to see that your internal customer gets good quality power. And money saved is money earned. You understand? And good quality power means you are no headache. Everything you have taken care to see that your machines are working properly, no expensive maintenance, nothing. You're not going to be subject to erratic behavior, and suddenly power gaya, and then you're at the mercy of barish aa gaya, khalas, production band. Why? We are in a modern world. There are equipments available. Yes, owners have not budgeted. The owners of the company, the directors of the company give very little importance to electrical maintenance and this. Yes, but if you and all we become intelligent, and we as an electrical fraternity become conscious, then we will be giving good quality solutions to your owners, to your directors and all, and everybody gets power. We get good power. Our grid gets good feedback from the manufacturing. We don't screw up the grid and spoil it for everyone. And everybody has to do the job. Okay. Thank you very much. And I hope all of you all enjoyed today's seminar and it was useful for you. Please disseminate this videos to all your friends, colleagues, and things like that. And I think I forgot the name regarding that Electrical Consultant Association in Bangalore. We'll be requesting you to help us to go to the consultants. Thank you very much. And I close the seminar. Good evening, sir.